Hey folks, Bill Kennard here. If you're watching this video, odds are you've downloaded the cash flow projector software. I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to show you just how easy it is to use this tool. At this point in time, you have to micromanage your cash flow. You have to be looking at it on a regular basis, at least every single week. Better yet, every single day. We have to be paying attention to that part. So the first thing we're going to do to start using the tool is we're going to, right there at the top, enter in your beginning date. Right? And so when you enter in that beginning date, I'm going to simply go there and I'm going to change that. Today is 4/24. I'll enter that in. You will notice it will automatically then calculate the beginning period for all the other 16 weeks in line. You don't have to do that manually. Next thing that you want to do is right there in that black box right here, I want to go ahead and enter in what's my beginning cash balance. All right, so it's a total of your savings accounts, your checking accounts, any other accounts that you have. What's the total cash that you've got available to you right now? So for simple numbers, I'm going to say it's $50,000. I'm going to plug that one in. And you'll notice it's already starting to do some of the math along the edge. Next, you'll notice the first section that we've got right here is expected revenues. What are some expected revenues that you think you're going to have coming in at this point in time? So that would be maybe installations. Right, I'm going to plug that one in. And I'm thinking that this week we're going to do $20,000. Right, whatever that number is, plug it in. Then I've got service calls. Right, and we're going to do another in service, another 10,000. Plug that one in. Right, as you put those numbers in, you've got if you've got accounts receivable that will be coming in, you expect the monies to be coming in, you could put in accounts receivable. Right, you're going to plug that one in. Maybe there's another $15,000 right there that you expect to be coming in this week. Right, so I'm going to plot that, put that information in. And again, if you can go out a little bit farther, what do you expect to be coming in next week, the week after, right? Go out as far as you can on here and get as accurate as you possibly can. So I know that for installations, there's going to be another 15,000 coming in next week. You know, again, it depends how big or small as far as what these numbers are going to be for you. Service calls, we'll say there's another $10,000 there. There won't be any AR at that point, right? Then we've got another 25,000. Right, coming in week 3, 15,000 there. We're probably going to get 30,000 coming in here, right? So plug in those numbers at that point on your installs. The software will automatically be doing the math and updating your beginning balances for each pay period or each period from that point forward. Once you've got all your expected revenues in, then I'm going to come down to the next section down here. And what are your expected expenses? You're going to enter that one in. So yeah, again, this might be payroll. All right, so I'm going to plug those numbers in, and it might be utilities. Plug that one in. We're going to have rents, right? What are those major expenses that you have that you're going to see? Suppliers. Right, so plug that information in to your individual projector, insurance, right? Whatever you think those numbers are, right? Go ahead and plug them into your individual model, right? So let's say this is just plugging in some numbers here, and we've got. I'll try to just think of some of the other expenses that you have, right? So you're going to plug all of those in, right, and account for everything. All right, so I'm going to say we're going to be just kind of plug some numbers in there. Now, you'll notice the software, again, is doing the math for you automatically. Down here at the bottom, as I put in all my information, if it's negative, it's going to show up in red. If it's positive, it's going to show up in green, but it will start to project those numbers all the way across. So again, fill this out as detailed as you can for as far out as you possibly can. Then the next thing you can do is you notice the tabs down here at the bottom. And they're cut off just a little bit on the video, but the next one is the black tab, which is labeled what if, right? So if I go to what if and basically scroll to the far left, what you're going to see is this will look like an exact duplicate almost of what we just saw on the last tab. The information that you entered in is now entered in there automatically for you. right? All the information that you've got in is already plugged in. Now, from that point, you'll notice right here in the green column, that's a new one. And it's going to be set with 100%. And what 100% is doing is that's saying the conditions are going to be exactly like we said they were going to be, right? But what if sales go up? What if sales go down, right? Which very well for some of you could be more likely. You can now come in and change these values, right? So we're saying here that our installation sales are actually good. They're not going to be as good, right? We're thinking they're going to be 90% of what we think they're going to be, right? Maybe our service calls, right? Or maybe this number goes down and it's actually 80%. When you key that in, what it's going to do is it's basically going to now recalculate this what if spreadsheet and drop your installation sales to 80% of what you said they were going to be on the other spreadsheet. All right, so let's say instead of our service calls of $10,000, service calls are actually going to only be 65% of what we thought they were going to be. It'll automatically recalculate the revenue at that point and recalculate all the rest of our numbers, right? Instead of this AR, all that stuff coming in, right? We're only going to get 5,000 of it. And in fact, if you try and change the number here, it's going to tell you, wait a minute, you can't change it. The only number you can enter in on this spreadsheet is in that green column, right? So that AR, instead of getting 100%, we're only going to get 50% of that. Right, so it's automatically calculating, updating your sheet, and updating your projected cash flow for each of those periods accordingly. It just lets you kind of look forward on your individual sheets. And then the last one down here, the orange tab that's at the bottom, right down here, is just a sample filled-in spreadsheet, right? We have one with kind of some numbers already plugged in there just to show you how we filled in this sheet.